last time I was filming, I had the engine installed in the frame. Fast forward to now, and I've got most of the bolt-on components on. It's full of oil, and I'm ready to see if it has compression and potentially see if I can make it start up for the first time. I'm just gonna see if it'll roll over. That's rolling over. Yeah. Thankfully the engine seems to turn over nicely and it's building oil pressure. Now we'll check compression and see what sort of engine we actually have. £70. 70 pounds again. 70 pounds. 70 seems kind of low though. That one's getting down to 60. I bet the battery was fading. Anyway, 60, 70 pounds each. I don't know if that's good. All right, so I checked the compression on this old girl. 70 pounds. So I'm not super thrilled about that. Obviously, that's too low. I was really hoping to see 100. But that was dry. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna lube up the cylinders a little bit, see if I can get the rings to seat a little more happily, and then I'll just let it sit for a while. Then I'll try it again and just see if it gets any better. It was 70 everywhere, so I don't know. You could see a little cross hatching in the on the cylinder liners, but it's obviously not brand new. This engine did get removed from another Jeep for a reason, right? I mean, you don't pull a perfectly good engine, but it does look like someone cared about it. So another thing that I'm probably going to end up doing is lapping the valves. I should have done that from the get-go, but time, and you know, I was optimistic. So anyway, one step forward, one step back, but it's still in the frame of the Jeep, so that's a win for me. It's easy to move. But anyway, let's put a little lube in there and just see if we can make them happier. Let's see. The goldenrod. Get in there and just give her a couple of squirts. So I haven't touched a Jeep in a while, but the last time I did a compression test, the numbers didn't come back that great. I think it was like 70 per cylinder. The rings were dry, so I lubed it up. And I'm hoping now I'll give it a shot and maybe the numbers will be better. So we're just gonna give that a run and see. I'm gonna hold the throttle wide open. I don't remember if I did that last time, but 100. Try one more time. That's better than I thought it would be. Yeah. As long as it's repeatable, right? That's what we want. 115. This engine's probably a runner now. Feel pretty good about that. $110. That was a little less. That one pulled 90. Let's give her a shot one more time. Come on, baby. 90. Starter's not getting too hot, even though I am clamping 12 volts to it. All right, well, 90 is a whole lot better than 70, and only one hole's down in the 90s, so I think this engine's gonna be good. Okay, so I just did a quick rebuild kit into the distributor. This is the same one that was in the block. I haven't touched the timing on it. Now I'm gonna be checking the gap on the points. So I'm just turning the engine a little bit. So we're pretty much at the top right there. Yeah, and that's way big. So that needs to be bent a little bit, I guess. We want to have 20 thousandths based on the manual for these, so I'm just going to give it a little tweak because it's already fully adjusted. Let me just double check. Okay, so the setup here is basically I've got a 6-volt battery supplying power to the coil. From the coil, we're going over to the distributor. And then I got one of the spark plug wires hooked to a spark checker. So I'm hoping that I see a little flash in here when I crank the engine over. Oh yeah, I don't know if you can see that. We are sparking. Funny though that the 6-volt battery wasn't turning the starter. But when I clip 12 volts to it real quick, it does turn, and it turns good. So I probably just don't have a good connection. None of this is very clean. So I probably should just clean that up. Even my jumper cables aren't that, they're not that clean. Let's try it again with the other lead on my jumper cables. It doesn't want to turn on 6 volts. I did see spark on my tester, so we are getting spark. Got the good stuff, the John Deere 80% ether. That was it firing. Just a little squirt. Gasoline. Okay, it's back firing up the carburetor. So something with the timing isn't quite right, but I never touched the distributor, so let's see. What I've come to is that the shaft on this distributor, the one I just put the new parts in, is worn out. Let me see if I can show you real quick. All right, let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So you can see here, the points aren't opening and closing. And now, if I put a side load on the shaft, they are. I don't know if you can see that wiggle. So if you look at this gap right here, watch that. This thing has more than a 20 thousandths wiggle in it. So this distributor is no good. So I'm going to be swapping parts over to this one, which seems like it's actually in pretty good shape and probably has had a rebuild at some point. These parts don't look super old. So I'm gonna just inspect it and see where we're at. That's running. Definitely running. All right, so let's cut out the piece of floor that we need. I've trimmed up some edges, and now it's time to just do it. Okay, so I'm gonna weld in the floor pan. You can see here I got these little welding clamps that allow you to hold two pieces of steel together and set the distance. My weld gap is bigger than I had hoped in some spots and pretty good in others, but it's an old Jeep, so I think we'll survive. And this has kind of been a long time coming, welding this in, so let's just get going on it because I wanna drive this thing. So I've been working on the Jeep. I got the floor pretty much welded in. I have a little bit more work to do in the back where it sandwiches between the panel here and then the floor plate. And I have some more grinding to do to kind of just tune up the welds here. My gap was bigger than I would have liked, so it really just took a lot of time and a lot of wire to do it, but it came out all right. And then I started working on the side plate here, and I'm not that happy with it. Personally, I don't really like how it looks. So this panel has a little flare in where there's a lip and then it sits up into here, and so I just drilled a bunch of holes and I was gonna spot weld it, and I really don't like how it looks. I think I'm gonna actually trim that back, remove all these spot welds. It's gonna be a bunch more work, but I just am not happy with it, so I'm gonna be fixing it. I think that I did an alright job here of trying to line up the where the tub would match, and then obviously, you know, I'll just put a little piece here and weld it in. But yeah, I don't like, ignore this. I'm gonna do some extra work and redo it. Although I do like the way these spot welds on the bottom came out. It ended up being pretty good. But the top, it bothers me. I don't like the lip. I would rather butt the two pieces together, weld a seam all the way across, and then, you know, deal with the grinding on that after, because yeah, lessons learned for the other side anyway. But might have gone better if I drilled bigger holes for my spot welds. I don't even know what size I used. I just picked one arbitrarily because whatever that looks like, it's big enough, and it wasn't big enough. So I didn't get good penetration, so it lifted in some spots, and then once it was going, like, it kind of got away from me. I didn't realize that it was doing it until I was kind of done. And so regardless, I'm not that happy with it. So I got to do something about it. But anyway, I'm gonna get to that, and then you never know. I gotta come up with some plates. Make some plates for this front area, and yeah, it's not going to be a show Jeep. It's not going to Meekum, but you know, making progress. So let's just see what happens. Alright, so that wasn't the greatest cut in the world, but also it's tough to see. So let's do some welding. So I got another big piece cut out, and I'm just trying to recreate this whole entire panel. This should be the last piece that I need. It's pretty close. This piece is going to be covered by the skin that comes over there, and then I got this big piece of bar stock. It's actually a lathe tool, clamped up to the top to hold this flat. I'm gonna get my angle from the other side once I continue farther down. But yeah, let's do a couple little tacks and probably be where I stop for today. Well, no showpiece, but rust is gone from that back panel. Pretty cool.